So, as mentioned at the end of the last lesson, playing chords is one thing, but the thing that we really need to work on and focus lots of attention in the early stages is changing quickly from one shape to another. So that's what we're going to look at here. Now, to teach you this, I'm going to use a chord sequence that crops up again and again in popular music. Sounds a bit like this. G, E minor, C, D7. Have a look at this chart. So at the beginning of the line there, you'll see a time signature. That's the 4/4. We call that a 4/4 time signature. That means 4 beats to the bar. In effect, each bar is divided up into 4 quarters. The main sort of vertical lines that you see there are the bar marks. In American, that's called a measure. A bar is a measure. Now, at the beginning and end, you'll just see that there's a sort of double bar line with a colon or 2 dots. Those are repeat marks. It basically means that everything between those 2 symbols is repeated round and round. The chord symbols themselves are represented by the letters. G and C are both major chords. The major bit is sort of left unspoken. The little M after the E means minor, E minor. And the 7 after the D means 7th. That's a particular type of chord. So we've got G, E minor, C, D7 is the sequence. And the other sort of diagonal marks on there, the / marks, they're really indications of strumming pattern. So it's a sort of suggestion that we strum 4 times to the bar. Okay, now one of the most common mistakes that people make early on is to worry too much about what's going on with the right hand and worry about strumming patterns and so on, when actually most of what's wrong with the right hand is the left hand. So I want you to start learning guitar in a way that optimizes the amount of time you put into your practice, and to do that, focus 100% on changing from shape to shape. So instead of going 1, 2, 3, 4 and then 2, 3, 4 and then and so on, you're much better off just holding the chord shape down, hitting it, going straight to the next chord shape, hitting it, straight to the next one. And after a few minutes of practicing that, there's more chance that you'll be able to change quickly enough to keep a good rhythm going. So all the accent needs to be on changing shape to shape. So let's take a methodical approach to this. Here you are, you've got your chord sequence. Look at the first chord it's asking you to play. And if you know it, great. If you don't, find a diagram for it. So here's a diagram of the G chord. That should look and sound something like this. Once you've got that down, move on to the next chord. That should look and sound something like this. Okay, then spend some time just working on the change from G to E minor. Notice common fingers between 2 chord shapes. So you've got the G there. That finger pretty much stays in the same place to go to E minor. So that's one of the ways you can sort of help more easily get from one shape to the next, is by noticing fingers that each shape has in common. You see that on this diagram. The common fingers are in red. Okay, so once you've got good at shifting from one chord to the next, from the G to the E minor, let's move on and look at the next chord. So that's the C chord, and what you want to do then is just practice getting from E minor, the preceding chord, to the C. Again, notice our common notes. In this case, the second finger can stay down when you go from one to the other, and that helps you more quickly get from one chord to the next. Then we come to the D7th chord. When you're playing the D7th chord, strictly speaking, you don't hit the 6th string, so you just work from the 5th string or just from the 4th string. Opinions differ as to which sounds the best. Really, it's sometimes you want to do one, sometimes you want to do the other. That sounds pretty good to me. So at this point, we've got the D7th chord down. We want to see how we get there from the C chord. And again, you'll notice in red on the diagram, we've got a common note. So we practice that change through a few times. Then, as the sequence repeats, we're going to go from D7 back to G. This time there's no common note, we simply have to place the fingers down. Now, a good tip here is to think first finger first. So here we are on the D7, to get to the G, get that finger down on that A string there at the 2nd fret, and that helps you position the other 2 fingers. If you let go of your chord shape completely, you've got to find everything again from scratch, and that always takes longer. By moving just one finger, you keep yourself well orientated. So once you've worked through each of these individual changes, you're ready to put the whole sequence together. Start simply by hitting each chord once, without any concern really about the timing or the rhythm. Once you've got that going smoothly, then you want to set up a metronome. You can access a metronome from the toolbox to the right of the video, and I would say with this exercise to start with, I would set it at about 60 beats per minute. Okay, so there's my metronome going at 60 BPM, and I'm going to count that as in 4/4 time. I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm going to strum my chords just on beat 1. So that goes like this: 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. So what I'm doing is I'm changing on beat 1, and I'm kind of using the other 3 beats to get ready with the next chord. Get ready with the D7, hit it. Get ready with the G, and hit it. Ready with the E minor, hit it. Ready with the C, and hit it. 2, 3, and so on. Now, to begin with, that really is as good as you can hope for, because it's very, very hard when you first learn chords to change them quick enough to be able to strum 4 to the bar. So that's what you start doing. You start strumming just once on each of the first beats, and use the other 3 beats to change to the next chord. Once you've got that going really well, what you can do is you can up the speed of your metronome, and see if you can keep up with that using the same method. So I've taken it up to about 80 beats a minute there. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. And then you can up it a little bit faster. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. And you continue that progress, that process until you're playing, I should say, probably somewhere around about 200 beats per minute, and you're able to keep up with that. At that point, you can slow back down to the 60 beats per minute, and see if you can then fill in the rest of the strums. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Notice I make the first beat strong and the others a little bit lighter. That way I can cheat a bit and move my hand a bit early. 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So there we go. That's a great method for learning chords, for learning chord changes. One of the reasons it's a good method is that right from the beginning you're playing in good time. A lot of beginners make the mistake of worrying too much about the strumming to begin with, at the expense of the chord changing with the left hand, and the result is something like this. Now, that might be more satisfying in some respects because you feel like you're doing a proper strumming pattern with the right hand, but musically speaking that's a very poor habit to be getting into right at the start, because you're not keeping time, you're not playing in good rhythm. So much better just to hit 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 3. Get it nice and smooth, and as your left hand comes up to speed, just allow the other strums to fill it out. So that's how to get on top of chord changes. It takes patience and persistence, but it's an absolutely crucial part of becoming a good guitar player. So invest time into that and everything else will go a lot smoother from there on out. Alright, I look forward to seeing you in the next lesson.